This is a special Thanksgiving edition of Smacking Off the Podcast.
Please welcome Jack Cann and Timothy Bailey to Smacking Off the Podcast.
Get to play an FCS school while they waited for their big final game, their biggest game of the season. And instead had to play a conference opponent who was only 5-5 but was surging and playing their best ball in November. That's my point about why the SEC gets a scheduling advantage. That's really not fair. Florida just moved up ahead of West Virginia in the rankings for having less losses. And they played two FCS teams, or they have more losses. They played two FCS teams. And on top of that, they just lost like 2 weeks ago by like 1,000 to an unranked SEC team in their own backyards. So I just wanted to point out, man, that's why I think it's BS that the SEC and some ACC schools play FCS or really low-tier FBS teams right before their big rivalry games.
Well, we're not lucky enough to be in the Big 12, so, have Baylor down the street.
Yeah, but you missed the first part. He's complaining about the SEC scheduling.
That's what I was saying. Yeah, and we're not lucky enough to be automatically in the Big 12, so we can just pick a cupcake up out of the from down the street.
Well, there's plenty of those in the SEC.
Oklahoma State.
I know LSU
wasn't a cupcake this year, were they? That was a scary game. That was scary.
That sucked.
Yeah. They're balling right now. Gundy's got them boys coached up this year.
Yep.
They're going to go to a decent bowl, maybe.
The way Oklahoma State's playing, there's only like 4 teams in the SEC that you're more scared of playing than Oklahoma State right now. But that's besides the point.
I don't know about scared of playing. I mean, we handled LSU pretty good. LSU's would arguably be the the third best team in the SEC, and we handled them pretty decently. And then, of course, we got Georgia coming up in a couple weeks.
Alabama. I was talking about, for instance, Florida. Alabama's different. They're undefeated. That wasn't going to change anything.
Yeah.
But I do think it's kind of, you see teams and situations, Ohio State losing to Iowa as a third cross-division game last year, which they wouldn't have played if they played an 8-game conference schedule.
Yeah.
Let's talk some West Virginia, Oklahoma. That's what I'm thinking about right now.
Will Greer,
right,
Will Greer, and Kyler Murray, two of the easily two of the best college quarterbacks playing right now.
Yep,
it's going to be a great game as far as quarterback play goes. Guys, let's talk about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Kyler Murray and Will Greer are unbelievable quarterbacks. Going into the season, I personally had Will Greer as the number 1 quarterback in the nation, in my opinion. Obviously, the way Tua and Kyler have played kind of changed that narrative. But he's still great, and he's been great all season long. And he has great wide receivers to throw to. And
Oklahoma has no defense that will stop him.
Probably not.
Let's call it like it is. Again, I'm going to reference the Oklahoma State game for a moment. That's kind of what I see is probably going to happen here, as far as pretty much a foot race to see who finishes on top in the end.
It's going to be
make for some good TV. That's for damn sure. Unless you're if you're a fan of neither team, if you're a fan of either team, it's going to be I don't envy you fellas. I really don't.
I think it's going to be a lot like 2012. First year we were in the conference, Oklahoma beat us on the last play of the game in Morgantown. But it was 50-49, and it just went back and forth the whole time.
It was.
I could see a lot being like that.
That was a great game. Tavon Austin still gives me nightmares to this day after watching that game, because he broke unbelievable amounts of records. I think he had 480 all-purpose yards or something against. It was stupid. But yeah, this matchup's been pretty lopsided since West Virginia's been in the Big 12. That was the last time that it's been a one-possession game in this series. So wouldn't it all surprise me if, though this game's high scoring, that Oklahoma wins by a decently comfortable amount, 14, 17, something like that. The way that Oklahoma played last week, they're not going to beat anybody, but I'm hoping that was not the way that they're going to play this upcoming Friday, which I'll actually be at that game with Sean Devine's flying in. And we're
get out of town. Game. That's awesome. Yeah, smacking off, bringing people together.
Then we're going to Louisville, Kentucky on Saturday.
Very nice.
Are y'all going to see that game?
Yeah, we're going to go to those two games. So one of Sean's dreams is to go to every major Division I stadium at least once.
Yeah, I think he's talked about that on the show before.
Right.
Yeah.
So I was sitting there thinking at first we were going to try to go to Ohio State, Michigan, because I live in Ohio.
Oh, that would be an amazing game to go to. That's on my bucket.
Got a hard ticket too.
Yeah,
$600 a ticket to watch teams that aren't the teams that we want to watch, and then
yeah, true.
My wife's an Ohio State fan, so then I have to bring her. And
and hear it one ear and hear it the other, and hear it all throughout the stadium. Yeah.
So man, y'all need to take your phones out and get some video at both venues, and mention smacking off, and we'll throw it.
Yeah, we need to make some money off of your happiness.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, this should be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to Morgantown. A weird backstory with this is the craziest story I've ever had with West Virginia fans. A few years ago, Oklahoma played West Virginia in the Big 12 tournament. Buddy Hield hit a half court 3-pointer that ended up getting waved off. And some guy named Timothy Bailey, who wasn't me, who happened to be an Oklahoma fan, said some really disgusting things on Facebook. Basically, it was smacking. It was basically like family smack. Some guy basically said something along the lines of, I wish all of the West Virginia players would die in a plane crash on the way home, but then I'd have to watch another movie about a shitty college in West Virginia.
We need to get that guy in the group.
I was like, damn.
That's pretty snazzy.
And so I woke up the next morning after that guy posted that to my wall was invaded by thousands, and I had hundreds of messages and PMs and talking about how much of a piece of
you die, you son bitch.
Yeah, they take a lot of pills in the West Virginia. A lot of pills.
I was like, dude, it's not the same person. I told one of them, I was like, Dora the Explorer teaches you how to find what's different about pictures, man. Come on. But yeah, one of them even threatened to rape my wife. So
wow.
that was crazy. That was a crazy experience.
Well, they keep it real there, don't they? I mean, look, I can understand telling somebody that I'm going to kick your ass, but I'm going to rape your wife. I mean, that's odd.
That's mountain talk there.
That's odd.
That's mountain talk.
Yeah, that's a little odd.
That's a little crazy. Yeah. But yeah, we'll
different ethics in the mountain.
Well, I guess it's better rape your wife than you. I mean,
Yeah. So
I mean, maybe not. I don't know. I mean,
couches get burned, win or lose, or is it only wins that we see the couches getting burned?
Okay.
It's wins.
It's a different ethics in the mountain. Tell them about it, Jack.
See, I work construction. I build things. Do you understand how important that is to the world? I don't know if y'all realize the pressure a man like me's got on him.
Dora Hargraves Construction. Area code 304-508-2248. Quality craftsmanship. Affordable price.
I told you 3 times already. The law's on my side.
#Family Smack. The worst smack group ever. Look for us on Facebook and on MeWe.
That is kind of a thing. It's been a little different the last couple years. But I could see this scene getting pretty crazy if we could pull this off right.
Well, tell us how you're going to pull it off.
I mean, of course, we've touched on the offense. I really think it is going to be, there probably won't be much defense, but I think it might come down to turnover, special teams play, or something you can do that just get one stop that might be enough to get it done, I think.
So you're saying the The ticket is just to outscore the Sooners.
Probably this year it's going to have to be, which is going to be really tough.
Right. Come on.
It's going to be tough for either team. I mean, first of all, West Virginia is a great environment. I'm really looking forward to seeing what it's like to be in that stadium live. For Oklahoma, this is going to be no gimme. The biggest thing for them is confidence, especially with the way the defense has played the last few weeks. They're going to have to be more confident. A lot of the way they played against West Virginia, against Kansas, especially in the fourth quarter, really has me bothered. As I posted, I was sick after that game. I was like, oh my gosh.
Now, wait. Now, Kansas is a really good team. No, wait a minute.
Kansas is not a very good team. They're a lot better than they were last year.
Oh, they're going to be great next year. You know who their new coach is going to be. Finally.
Yeah.
Finally, old grass eating Les got him a job.
David Beatty, I think they would have been better off, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't know who Les Miles is as a coach right now. He's been out of the game for a minute. I mean, even just a scant few years in today's game is a long time to be out of the game.
He reminds me of Gene Stallings. I don't see his philosophy getting it done in the Big 12. I'm sorry. I think that
you got to score points.
But at the same time, though, we're talking about Kansas, so he doesn't really have to. I mean, if he can get Kansas to 6-6, that's going to be a huge thing for them.
6-6 is a stretch.
He can do that. He is that Puka Williams kid who he gave me Tavon Austin flashbacks last week. That kid's pretty good. I don't know how LSU let that kid leave their backyard, especially to go to Kansas.
He couldn't understand Coach O telling him to come to LSU. Yeah, that's all that mumbling and stuff. I mean, that's got to be a deal breaker for some of those recruits.
All right, now one conversation I'd like to have is the CFP. West Virginia's out. That West Virginia can't get in even if they beat Oklahoma twice. Mm-hmm. They're probably still not getting in.
Texas is basically in. They just have to beat Kansas and they're in, regardless of the result Friday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, Timothy, this is directed to you.
Yeah.
What's going to happen for Oklahoma to climb into the CFP? Because I know
I
you're
think
predicting.
It's this simple. First of all, Alabama's going to destroy Georgia. That's going to take care of itself. Georgia's basically like a cheap generic brand version of LSU, except they have a quarterback that's like worth watching, or a scheme that's worth watching, kind of.
Yeah, sometimes.
So that'll take care of itself. That's probably going to be another that's going to be ugly, and then it's going to come down to Ohio State beating Michigan. I think is ultimately going to come down, or Northwestern. But let's come on now. That team is terrible.
Right.
So I mean, they did have Michigan down 17, so maybe, but.
So you're hinging this on Ohio State upsetting Michigan?
Yeah, I think that's the only way OU gets in.
I don't know.
I mean, obviously there's other scenarios, but not other realistic scenarios, I don't think.
Meyer's down at the end of the season, so I don't know. It would be a nice way for him to
I don't know if he's officially done, but it's being reported that he's done.
And Michigan, the thing is that there have been so many.
Ohio State lives rent free in Michigan's head. I don't know if you guys realize it.
Oh, I do.
True.
But you know how you guys make fun of me, how Oklahoma hasn't won a championship since 2000?
Right.
Well, that's the last time Michigan's won in Ohio, in Columbus. So, listen, you're still dialing up on Juno to get on the internet the last time Michigan beat Ohio State, all right? So it's like...
I wasn't using Juno.
It's not going to happen.
AOL or CompuServe.
I don't believe it. I have to see it to believe that Michigan's going to beat Ohio State. Period.
Right.
They got to prove that shit. It doesn't matter. I mean, like I said, Ohio State lives rent-free in their head, and part of that also with that game against Maryland was awful for Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
That means they're going to be angry going into the next week, and also... it's another one of my things where I'm saying, hey, look, playing conference teams that have some kind of semblance of talent and you have a target on your back in November is scary.
So, Jack,
yes,
what can West Virginia do? I don't think that they can get into the CFP.
No.
So the best that West Virginia can hope for is to beat Oklahoma. I think that Timothy's
Get
right.
a New Year's Six bowl.
Texas
perhaps.
actually clinches if they beat Kansas and they get
Yeah,
in.
if we would beat Oklahoma, we get to the championship game and would either play them or Texas. And, well, I guess we would play Texas if we would win.
Oh, sorry.
And
Yeah,
then-
I wasn't thinking about. Okay, so Oklahoma and West Virginia is for half of the championship game. The winner of the
Pretty
winner.
much.
Assuming that Texas beats Kansas. If Texas loses to Kansas, which has happened in recent years,
Then it could be West Virginia and Oklahoma.
then it would
again.
be a rematch no matter what the result.
Okay.
Interesting.
So it would
Texas
be
will
that
definitely beat
and then
Kansas.
get into a New Year's Bowl for us.
They need to hurry up and get Les Miles there. Maybe Les Miles could coach.
What kind of chaos would
Texas game?
what kind of chaos would have to happen for West Virginia to pull up and get into that fourth spot?
Oh God, there would have to be a huge shakeup with just about every single team up above them
Georgia
right now.
lose bad. Georgia lose bad. Washington State lose. Michigan beating Ohio State but losing to Northwestern.
Yep.
UCF losing any game.
Auburn beating Alabama.
I don't think Alabama will matter because you basically can assume and pencil in Alabama, Notre Dame. I mean, Notre Dame losing still, they're not going to get in over a one-loss Notre Dame. So assume the three undefeated stay undefeated. I think that you'd be fighting for a fourth spot, but West Virginia probably would need to have serious style points in the two games against their blue blood opponents in the next 2 weeks, assuming that they were to beat both. Georgia would have to get their ass handed to them pretty badly. Michigan beating Ohio State but losing to Northwestern, UCF losing. Because I honestly think UCF would get in as an undefeated over any of the two
It's
losses.
not impossible, but it might as well be impossible.
I would throw the biggest fucking hissy fit I think I've ever thrown since the kick six.
If UCF got in,
UCF got in the got in the
UCF,
CFP.
I mean, UCF to get in, there'd be like a scenario of like tons of teams would have to lose games they shouldn't lose, though.
Right.
I mean, if it happens and they've won 24 in a row, like, why fucking not, man? Like, let them get in there and get smacked by Alabama and let's move on with our lives after that so we don't have to hear about it.
Our audio-only podcast is hosted at podcastgarden.com/podcast/smackingoff. Or find us on Google Play Music. Or on iTunes. Introducing the most fabulous, the most luxurious, the most anti-Bama ride available today. Fuck those championships, they're all fucking fake anyway. Don't hesitate for another day. Georgia fans, Ohio State fans, take the ride of your life today. Hop on the UCF Rolling Dick Rider ZX. Slide it in with a grin, show those Bammers that UCF is the real champions.
Company X is not responsible for, and expressly disclaims all liability for, damages of any kind arising out of use, reference to, or reliance on any information contained within the site. While the ride may give you much joy, Company X is not responsible if it makes you look like a big dumbass, disgruntled fan who cannot accept the results of the actual national championship game, or the CFP playoffs when your team doesn't win. Although this ride may be fun, our package does not include lube, and may result in various anal rashes.
Kind of why I want Oklahoma.
well, Jack would be ecstatic if UCF got in. He's been a UCF fan since 2017. Am I right, Jack?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
He always
I respect UCF. It's just
right. Well, yeah, but you're not a fan. Jack has been a fan since 2017.
Oh, I gotcha. I gotcha.
He's always telling people that. He always says, "I've been a fan since 2017."
Yeah, I don't want to. I feel like we've spent way too much time talking about UCF in this segment. Yeah, fuck them.
Before,
I guess I forgot there is another scenario for the Big 12. It's because it's really still kind of a mess. I guess if Texas would lose to Kansas and we would lose to Oklahoma, Texas would still get in because they and Iowa State would beat Kansas State. I guess Texas would still get in against Oklahoma because they beat Oklahoma and us and Iowa State didn't.
Oh.
So, right now it could be WVU in Texas or Oklahoma in Texas.
Thank God Iowa State's not going to get in because they got a game that day actually against some team that I don't even remember what they were called.
Incarnate Ward.
Yep.
I think I even heard now that Incarnate Word got into the FCS playoffs, and if they're still in it, they would have to cancel that Iowa State game.
Oh, shit. Maybe true. The Iowa Crush can go up there. Is that what they're called?
Yeah.
All right.
Mackenzie's badass. Y'all need to go back to hashtag Family Smack.
Need to catch that video of her running the ball.
Need to catch that video of her running through every single
running people
being that's in front of her, just cutting straight through them. And I felt sorry for a couple of those ladies.
Okay, guys, before we go to bed and hang up on y'all, we're going to get a prediction.
We're not going to bed together, are we?
Don't say that.
Don't look at me like that. You made me feel real uncomfortable with that look.
All right. We're going to get a prediction out of both of you guys.
Quit touching my foot with your foot.
An exact prediction.
Oh.
Mr. Cann.
Let's go with, because like I said, Oklahoma seems to score about 50 points every game.
So West Virginia needs 51.
Let's say 55-52. WVU.
All right. Timothy, why isn't that going to happen?
Well, the simplest reason is because we have Kyler Murray and you don't.
Dad and Timothy's going to have he's going to have one of those laser lights, and he's going to keep putting it in the West Virginia quarterback's eye.
Yeah, that's the plan.
Will Greer will be having vision problems, and
honestly, I think both teams are getting a lot of those defensive players that have been unhealthy for the last month back. So I do think a lot of points will happen, but I actually think Oklahoma. First, there's a couple reasons why I think Oklahoma will win this by a fair margin. I'm going to say 59-35.
Mm-hmm.
One is I just don't trust Dana Holgorsen in big games like this. That's the biggest reason. Two, this is Oklahoma's been there. They've done that. This is their this is what they do. They know how to win. They've got, in my opinion, the best player in college football. And then you have some guys come back on defense, which I think will definitely help them. Their defense isn't good. They're going to give up points. And Will Greer's a great quarterback. They're going to give up points. But I do think that Will Greer is more likely to throw an interception than Kyler. And I do think that the Oklahoma special team is more likely to make a play than the West Virginia special team.
What's the score going to be, Tim?
I got 59-35 OU.
All right. You got y'all have heard it?
This is a much more civil discussion than I thought it was going to be. I
tried to get them all worked up, and they seemed all worked up. But
I'm just not a dick.
I am a dick. Let's go ahead and get that straight right now, big boy.
No, you're just a casual observer.
Don't think I didn't hear your little remark. Like, that's what I'm hoping for Oklahoma when I said let's get UC up in the playoff and get them beat. I got you.
I want Alabama, Oklahoma in this playoff so bad I can't see straight.
It bad for years and years and years.
And that's one thing that's what we may not be able to agree on much, Timothy, but I think we both agree on that because that will definitely put to bed the conversation. Because right now in the series, Oklahoma edges Alabama out.
Yeah. Oklahoma and Alabama haven't played enough games. Oklahoma fans like to say we own Alabama. We haven't played enough games against Alabama. We've only played 4 or 5 ever.
And I think that's horseshit. I really do. I would kill for a home and home Alabama, Oklahoma.
That would be
amazing.
And obviously when Alabama played the home and home with Oklahoma earlier in this century, Alabama wasn't very good at that time, and Oklahoma was very good. So it wasn't very fun.
No, I'm talking about right now. I'm talking about modern days.
I will say this: both games were very, very good and competitive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The one in Norman, especially.
Yep. That was Dennis Franchione.
Yeah, the Eric Bassey scored that
asshole
touchdown at the end, I think, to make it a 2-possession game, but it was not a 2-possession game at all. No.
Is Franchione still alive?
I think he is.
Fuck.
Fake punt, I believe, in that game too.
Yep.
Yeah, those were great games. But again, I actually would love to see Oklahoma, Alabama for a lot of reasons. One, because they're the two. Most people would agree that they're the two best all-time programs in the sport.
Definitely both
among the best. We'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, there ain't no way to argue that.
Let's leave it at that.
Yeah.
So we don't have to argue on it.
2 blue blood programs. 2
blue blood programs.
Straight up dominant, particularly in the modern era.
Yeah, number 1 and number 2 in wins, number 1 and number 2 in championships. Both flipped. Oklahoma more wins, Alabama more championships. Yeah, I mean, it would be awesome. Just a point blank. And then on top of it, I think that the game would be fantastic because you have I think you have Lincoln Riley is going to lead into the next era, and then Nick Saban, I don't know how much longer he has, but he's, the guy who's been there, the veteran. I think all of it would be fun, and I think the game would be great.
Nick Saban will never die.
I didn't say he's going to die, but he will eventually.
Well, I mean,
I didn't claim that.
He will never die. So he's going to be coach for at least another, I'd say, 15, 20 years. So.
Well, guys, we're going to let y'all go to bed, and we want y'all to have a great Thanksgiving. And everybody that listened tonight, have a great Thanksgiving. And
absolutely, guys.
And, man, we got a fucking awesome weekend of football. Starting Friday, actually, Fridays, there's some great games Friday. Oklahoma and West Virginia is a Friday game.
UCF, South Florida
playing on Thanksgiving again.
I will be pulling so hard for South Florida Friday. I can't even see straight.
No, you won't. You want them in you just said you want them in the CFP.
No.
You changed your mind?
No, I don't want UCF in this. I don't want UCF anywhere in this conversation ever again about the CFP.
I think that would be cool.
It's fucking horseshit.
I would love for Bama and UCF to go head to head in the first game one. But anyway, guys.
Let me shout out to Tiggy Doms real quick. Tiggy, go Wazoo. All right, let's do it.
And don't forget to use the
Find Smacking Off the Podcast on YouTube, at Podcast Garden, Google Play Music, and iTunes. Make sure to check out the 9 p.m. Eastern, Tuesday and Friday Facebook Live episodes at #FamilySmack.
Please subscribe to our channel by clicking the small smacking off icon at the top of the screen now. Click the link at the bottom of the screen to watch last week's episode.